Okay, good evening and welcome once again. Today is our 1423rd day of continuous webinar. Thank you all the participants, faculties for your interest and participation. Thank you so much. And today's our guest he's not a guest. He is the main part of our IFPH. Now we are saying International Forum for Promoting Homeopathy. He is the man who made our forum as international because he is taking classes in many countries and he connected many countries to our international forum for promoting homeopathy. So he is MD in homeopathy and he has a PGCR and MF in homeopathy. He was visiting professor of many universities in all over across the globe, and he worked as a head of the department of. Which department I don't know. He was a professor of Government Homeopathic Medical College, and moreover, more than that, he is the international coordinator of IFPH. I am welcoming you, sir. Sir, please welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Ajini, for the good words you have told about me and also the IFPH for giving me this opportunity. On the last 1,400 days, we have been conducting many seminars which are attended by the doctors around the world. And now we are mainly dealing with the new viral diseases that are coming up every day, because from Corona onwards, what we are seeing is, or before that also, in the last 2 decades, from 2000, we could see that there were epidemics and pandemics coming and going. And the number of epidemics that are coming up every year or every 5 years is increasing and increasing. So here, why such things happen? That is also a thing to be considered by the doctors and the scientific community, because in all other fields of life, we see a lot of improvements, new inventions are coming up, and many developments are coming in every field. But in the field of medicine, what we are seeing is, we have seen H1N1 one time, then chikungunya, dengue fever, then some diseases which were not there for so many, maybe 50 years or 60 years are reappearing now. So this is the scenario now. Here in India also, what we can see is the Chandipura virus that is now going on in Gujarat and some other parts of North India. And why such things are happening often, and it claims many lives also. So what is wrong with the medical field? That we have to think as doctors. We know that antibiotics are no longer effective, and even the Indian Medical Association also is warning people not to take much antibiotics. But at the same time, what we see is the number of epidemics, pandemics are increasing. Just now we have seen only Corona, and later what happened with the vaccines. And the vaccine was produced within a short time, and now the people who have taken 3 vaccines are in danger, and many people met with sudden death. But at the same time, these kind of things are not statistically looked into, because the number of sudden deaths have increased in the last couple of years suddenly. And also what we couldn't understand is, see, even when we recall the Corona virus, the epidemic, what we have seen is the number of deaths were more in people above the age of 60 with some comorbidities. So the 90% of the people who died were people above the age of 60 and who had some other diseases, or they were under the medication for some other diseases. But when the vaccines came out, even the children were given vaccines, where the morbidity or mortality rate was very low. So what happened is, All the age groups were given these 3 vaccines. And now the youngsters are dying or coming with the sudden deaths. This is the biggest problem. So there is something which is going on in the health field, which always the benefit goes to the pharma companies and all of these things. So everything is, some people say it is a pre-planned one by the pharma industry to make more money or something like that. But at the same time, we can see there is an attempt by some quarters to destroy the alternative systems of medicine throughout the world. There is a lot of propagandas coming up against the alternative systems. And also what we see is the World Health Organization conducted some studies and found that alternative systems are coming up in a big way. But one thing we have to remember is these alternative systems are coming up in a big way, not because of the support from the pharma company or from the government or political support or the support of any governments. It grows its own in its own legs. That is what has happened. Even though we meet with so many kinds of suppressions, oppressions, everything, still the homeopathic fraternity is also growing. The percentage of people using homeopathic medicines are increasing day by day. Here, in this Chandipura virus also, it's a rhabdovirus family which actually causes encephalitis. So in the last 20-25 years, what we have seen is mostly this flu viruses with some variations here and there are causing this kind of diseases. And the ultimate pathology is the inflammation of certain areas. For this virus, it happened to be on the brain, or you can see that it's a type of encephalitis that are coming with severe headache, high fever, and then some sudden onset of fevers and all those frequent vomiting. All this, what we see is the pattern is, it is like an encephalitis. So this encephalitis is not a new disease, but we can treat this with our medicines, which are good for encephalitis, or our medicines which produce encephalitis-like symptoms. That approach is the best. Again, this now you know that in medicine there are 2 methods. One, the so-called modern system of medicine, that is allopathy, which is always trying to treat according to the specific virus, bacteria, or parasite. And the alternative systems are more or less trying to treat with the symptomatology, depending on the symptomatology. This is the basic difference. The basic difference between the more advanced system of medicine, or what we call the modern medicine or allopathic system of medicine, and homeopathy is, we are always selecting our medicines on symptomatology. Because even if we see the same pattern, even in encephalitis, we can see some individualizing symptoms in each individual. Out of the 5 or 6 symptoms or the clinical manifestations which each disease has, one or the other may be prominent in each individual. That will be different. The prominent symptom may be different in different individuals. And that gives us the clue, or that prominent symptom called for the medicine. And that gives us the clue to the selection of the correct remedy. Whereas now the modern system, what the so-called modern system is in darkness, they are trying to isolate the virus. And even if they isolate the virus that comes next time will be different. Because of the use of chemical medicines and strong methods to kill the bacteria, kill the virus, kill the parasite, what happens is these parasites, these viruses, these bacteria are becoming resistant to any kind of medicines. Actually, these diseases are produced by giving or suppressing or killing these bacteria. The fittest or the strongest of the bacteria or the viruses will survive, and they are more stronger, and they can produce more harm to the human body than the normal viruses. Also, we see that the viruses or bacteria which were there are only affecting the animal kingdom or animals or our domestic animals have started to attack the human beings. That was what happened in H1N1. In H1N1, this chikungunya is what happened. Chikungunya was there for a long, long time, but it was not affecting the human beings. Like that coronavirus also, we know it's a variant of the flu virus. So this is happening again and again and again. And the same methods are being repeated again and again, that isolate the bacteria or virus or parasite, then stop the transmission by killing some, in Kerala recently, for the last 3 years, we have been killing the birds, the ducks, because of the problems or the disease of bird flu. In order to stop the bird flu, they are killing the birds. Then what about the rabies? When a dog is rabid, and if it kills a man, then you cannot kill the rabid dog. So these are paradoxes which normal people or any people cannot understand at all. So how long we will be able to kill these parasites, bacteria, viruses? It is not possible. You cannot make any organism extinct in this world, because almost all the organisms or all the birds, all the things around us can be carriers also. So this method, what I want to say is, this method is the problem. Killing the pathogen or the transmitting agent is not the way. There is another way. Every individual, every organism should live and should learn to live in harmony with the other ones. Then only the nature that balance of nature will be maintained. So here, killing is not the answer for this. The answer should be to make the individual more make it more immune to all these things, whether it is a bacteria or a virus or a parasite, which may come in future also. The only method is to make the host or to increase the immunity of the host, that is the human beings. Medicines and the medical field should look into this. Instead of trying to kill all the pathogens or anything, we have to concentrate on this area. And this is what Hanuman has said. There is a natural law. You cannot kill another species or organism and live happily, because nobody could, no organism is extinct. It will come back in a more stronger way. We know we were using pesticides. We were using DDT for ants. Now it is not working at all, because what we have is the genetically modified varieties. And these genetically modified varieties are more stronger. This has been proved time and again, several times, and still we are following the same methods. This is one of the biggest problems. And only if they address this problem, in the coming days, in the coming years, the coming decades, we could prevent the epidemics, pandemics, etc., etc. These are pointers. And this, unless and until they study this, and unless and until they realize this problem, we cannot be, we are not safe. The humanity is not safe. And also there are many other factors to be considered. See, for example, this Chandipura virus, actually it is a virus which was detected in 1965 in Nagpur, in the state of Maharashtra. And now it again appeared. So what we can understand is these viruses are living there in many places. And when the favorable atmosphere comes, when they have a favorable situation that helps them to multiply or become more stronger, they start affecting human beings. So now it is in Gujarat, and almost 32 people died, and some other 87 people are, already infected. And the basic problem is, the basic disease is the encephalitis, which is an inflammation and swelling of the brain tissue. Here, the fatality rate is also very high. The mortality rate is 56 to 75% of the affected people. And the target group is the children who are below the age of 15. Then the people are dying mainly because of the complications from this, like coma, brain death, then many such things. And these are seen mostly in the monsoon, and it is spread by the sandfly. So these symptoms should give us a clue to the selection of the remedy. We know that homeopathy has been treating encephalitis for a long time, and some years back, maybe I think around 1980s, in Andhra Pradesh, one state of India, where there was the encephalitis outbreak, and the scientists said that it will come back again and again, and as per the nature of this virus and everything, it can come back again and again. But homeopathy contained it, and we all know that story, so there is no need to repeat it. So the BCT, that was our protocol. That means Belladonna, Calcarea carp, tuberculinum. So it was given in a 2 months interval, first Belladonna, then after 1 month Calcarea carp, then to tuberculinum. So it was the famous, this one BCT. So, but there also what happened is, this encephalitis, this outbreak did not recur or come back again in Andhra Pradesh till now, even after 30, 40 years. It did not come back. So that's a point which, if the scientific world or the medical field want to do, we can do it. But now that things are different. When an epidemic is breaking out, the first thing our health authorities do is, they are making a cry out of this and say that other systems should not treat. But whether they have the treatment for that disease, no. What they are doing is kill the mosquito. They combine that campaign of kill the mosquito or kill the virus or kill the bats or birds or something. So because they don't have an answer for these epidemics. But at the same time, they don't allow systems which have the medicines for such diseases, and which have proved time and again in the past also, containing many epidemics. In Kerala, we know the story of the cholera outbreak in Alappuzha and tribal areas. And in that areas, it did not come back even after 30 years, 25 years. So that is the point. But still, the suppression of the alternative system is one agenda of the pharma companies, and is followed by the governments also. So then it goes to this way. But at the same time, what we have to understand is, the only method to contain this kind of epidemics and pandemics are to give medicines from all the medicines selected according to the symptomatology. Many people used to ask the question, how homeopathy is different from allopathy. But everywhere what allopathy does is to kill the virus or kill the bacteria or the parasite. But when new varieties are coming out, in the last 2 decades, what we see is all the epidemics have a general pattern, that all these epidemics are caused by variants or some mutant varieties of a virus which is there for the last 50 or 60 or 100 years. These viruses have undergone mutation, became more powerful, and started attacking the human beings. And this chikungunya, it was confined to the chicken or H1N1. It was confined to the pigs. It was called pig flu at one time. But how it came to the human beings? So far, it was not happening. And it started happening only in the last 2 decades. Why this shift is coming up? And this is because that viruses are becoming stronger and stronger. The mutant varieties are very, very strong, and they can attack human beings also. So why this is happening and how we can contain this? So in future, whatever may be the epidemic or pandemic, the attitude of the medical field should change to the new ways, like in homeopathy or in other systems of medicine. So in many cases, when corona broke out, we know they couldn't track this corona. They couldn't find a remedy that kills the coronavirus because they were going that line. They were thinking of killing the coronavirus and helping people. But this new and also producing vaccines. And vaccine could not be produced or no vaccine is available for the new varieties of these viruses. And they have to find out a vaccine immediately. But it is also not possible. So now what happens is when a new epidemic comes, it is by new viruses, or when a new pandemic comes, it is by a new virus, which doesn't have an answer, which cannot be, there is no treatment, no medicine, and no vaccine. That is the situation. So here, since homeopathy is a system of medicine which is based on symptomatology, we can treat any of these pandemics and epidemics. That is the advantage of homeopathy, because every endemic or pandemic, we can see some symptoms, maybe a 5 to 10 symptoms, out of which the first 1 or 2 or 3 may be the predominant one. Also, one more thing which the modern medicine forgets is, even though the infecting agent is the same, the host, the individual on which this bacteria is infecting is different. Every individual is different. Even during corona, we know some of our medicines like bryonia, arsenic, gelsemium, all the fever remedies worked very well when it was given according to or by individualization. So this individualization is the core. And only if you individualize the case properly and according to symptomatology, we can give the medicine. So the treatment and the same medicine which is found useful for the treatment of these epidemics can be used as preventive also. So any new disease, whatever it is, any new variant of virus or bacteria, whatever it is, we can treat, and homeopathy only can treat that. But at the same time, we have to study these cases, and also we have to know the complications, and also we should know that what type of complications are usually coming. The complications usually come because when an individual is highly psychotic, he has a tendency to or susceptibility to get viral diseases. And these psychotic medicines are mostly useful in many of these viral diseases. And the miasmatic remedies are also coming mostly from the psychotic group, mainly because psychosis of the miasm, the psychotic miasm has a predisposition or susceptibility to get this kind of viral diseases or the bacterial diseases. And also, there are many other things also that should be considered. I am not saying that the general management should not be there. There should be general management also, because general management can help us to reduce the number of infectants or the spreading of this. At the same time, along with the proper homeopathic medicine, we have to tell the patients and the community that they have to follow these kind of general measures, and that also are very important. But at the same time, without medicine, it cannot be cured. So medicine should be selected, and most of this last epidemics that appeared in the last 2 decades, what we see is homeopathic medicine, especially our remedies for fevers like rustos, arsenic, gelsemium, and eupatorium. Many medicines were found very useful. Even this first 5 or 10 medicines of fevers were found useful in most of the epidemics. We know that in H1N1 or in chikungunya, what we gave is rustons. Those who have taken our medicine, our preventives, did not develop any complaints after that. But at the same time, even now, we are getting patients who have severe knee pain or joint pains, who have a history of chikungunya. Even after 5 to 10 years, they are suffering from that. So the complications are going on and on. And nowadays also, so we get patients with this complications from H1N1 or from chikungunya. In corona, what happened is the people who have taken these vaccines are now suffering than people who have taken corona medicines or corona treatment or got infected with corona. People who have taken vaccines are coming up and they are complaining of different, we don't have a pattern. The biggest thing in coronavirus and vaccine and corona disease was even the complications does not have a pattern. There is a normal pattern. Some people get problems in the circulatory system, in the heart, some people in the lungs, some people in kidney, some people in the liver, and in different people, different organs are affected and different types of symptoms are seen. So what we mean to say is the difference in the approach. In the medical field, there are many approaches. Maybe one's organ specific or one this infecting agent specific, then the symptomatology. These two are there. And if one does not work, the other method should be allowed to work. I'm saying allowed to work because there is a method, but it is not utilized properly or not promoted at all. So these symptomatological methods should be promoted if the other systems doesn't have a method because they take time. They take time to locate the virus or bacteria. Then they have to find something that can kill them or something which can be given as a vaccine. So here it takes time. And you know what happened in corona. The corona vaccines were made in a short time without going through all the trials. And usually to bring out one vaccine, it takes 2 years or 3 years. But this vaccine was given with a 1-year study and all that. And the results we have seen. We saw the results. And even then the world does not learn from it. Even the World Health Organization also said that it was a mistake or this is not the way. Everywhere throughout the world, all the countries are saying that they are not ready to continue with the corona vaccine. But still, they have not taken consideration the possibilities of a symptomatological treatment. So here what we have to see is the Hahnemannian method that is based on the symptom and the each individual symptom, you can individualize the disease and treat the patient, whatever may be the pathogen, whatever may be the condition. This is one method which can be used in any new epidemics or against any new viruses. Because viruses are becoming more stronger and the immunity of the human beings are becoming lower and lower and lower. Why this immunity is becoming lower, that also we have to study. All the uses of chemicals in the food, chemicals in the air, chemicals in the medicines. And one of the biggest things or the main one is the chemical medicines which destroy the immunity of the individuals. That's why in corona we have seen people who have comorbidities, people who are taking medicines for comorbidities are dying like anything in corona. The same thing will be repeated in the coming epidemics also. Unless we realize these facts, it is going to be the same. Because now we have this, but in a local area, so it's just not even we can say that it's an epidemic, but in certain areas. So the approach should be different and the alternative system should be given equal importance and opportunity to treat and prevent these diseases. So this is what I wanted to tell you about this Chandipura virus. So this is also another encephalitis. which we can treat with our normal medicines for encephalitis like belladonna, calcareca, tuberculinum, and all the fever remedies, and even pyrogen. So this is the way homeopaths should tackle this or take up this challenge. I hope that trust that people in Gujarat or the doctors, homeopathic doctors in Gujarat will take up this issue and do something there. We hope and trust that they will be able to win this situation very shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And now it is a time for the discussion. Those who have question regarding this, you can ask. So please come forward for discussion. Dr. Beatrix, unmute yourself and ask. Or doctor, please unmute. Doctor? Okay.
Now, it's better now. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see you, Dr. Jones.
Hello.
Very nice. Yes, it's a moment I was very busy, but I heard you were talking. It was very interesting, so I could join. Dr. Jones, I have a question. I heard, let's say 2 or 3 weeks ago, I did read in the newspaper that in China, also close to Wuhan, they're making experiments with another virus, which will cause encephalitis and which will be much more lethal than the coronavirus. And I also heard that there are already certain populations being affected, small population, by intention, by the military, to see what is happening. So my question is, I don't know whether that's right, but I was reading this in Epoch Times, an interesting newspaper. Do you talk about the same virus? That's my question.
No, we are hearing about this biological warfare for a long time. Even we have heard that in the Vietnam War, America used this biological warfare. And maybe the other countries will follow. It's all becoming a part of the war, to develop some very strong viruses in the laboratory and put it against the enemies. So how people, even what Einstein has said, how people are misusing certain things in such a way. And here now we see the artificial intelligence, IVF, many things are like that, not according to the nature. When you go against the nature, this natural balance will be upset, and some new varieties of viruses can develop, and it can produce havoc in the community. This is going on. Sometimes we say it is China, sometimes another country.
And at the moment, do you have a beginning epidemic in India in that case?
No, it's only not. We cannot say it's even an epidemic because it affects in a very small area in Chandipura in Gujarat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
but
because nowadays the surveillance and everything is better, so even one death of one particular thing, it attracts attention all over the world, and people are more and more careful because of the experience during Corona. Everybody is afraid. When you hear about a virus, everybody is afraid. So that fear psychosis is one of the ways to improve your business for the pharma industry. This fear psychosis.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you very much, Dr. Jones.
Why the media is giving so much importance to such things? There are people who are dying of many other things, even iatrogenic diseases or the side effects of medicines. Many people are dying, but not reported. But when a person dies of a viral disease, it is reported like anything and made fear. And then after some time, we see that some company is coming up with the vaccination and making millions and millions. The story ends there. Then another one will come after 1 or 2 years.
Yes, and that's also a very political thing always. You know that in Germany this week this week it was opened, all the protocols of our main health organization during Corona, and it had been published, but with black phrases not to read. Now everything can be read, and the result is that the politics always said that scientific object is now we have to do this, and the scientists of that public or organization in the protocol said no, but the politician said yes. So that's now clear since that week in our country.
Now, there are many benefactors from this kind of calamities.
Yeah.
Every calamity is an opportunity for them. That is the reason.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Beatrix. Dr. Ahmed Hassan, you can, okay, you can talk now.
Yes, Dr. Issac sir, good evening. Very nice presentation. In this regard, why these epidemics are more, as per epidemiology, the distance between animals and human beings are very close nowadays, because due to more housing urbanization, so that is why these pandemics are more. And I have to deal with two pandemics. Sorry, one is epidemic and one is pandemic, that corona, but one I dealt Rift Valley fever. So as you told, it is correct that it will always come every 10 years, 20 years. But Rift Valley fever epidemic was it was in Saudi Arabia, in Jazan area, but it was very danger. Patient coming in the morning, totally okay, when he just only febrile, but in the evening, his all system will fail. Kidney, liver, everything. In the morning, when he admitted or she admitted, every report is normal. But in the evening, everything 1000, SGOT, SGPT, creatinine, everything is more than 10, any abnormal. So that was very danger virus, but it happens before in Africa or which place, I forget the name. So definitely this is the problem. The virus will come and it will be more, and it is the law of nature. Every living want to spread their offspring, so virus also want, they don't want to destroy their community or their presence in the world. Thank you very much, sir. Very nice explanation.
One more thing is, all these epidemics or pandemics that came in the last 2 decades are from mutant varieties of the viruses.
Yes.
Not the normal
yes,
variety. How such mutations are taking place so often, and in this last 2 decades, why it is increasing like anything? Not the original natural ones. These are the mutant varieties. So who are producing these mutant varieties is a question. What are the things which produces these mutant varieties? Whether it is vaccination, whether it is the chemical medicines which kill them, or the ones who are surviving even after vaccination or with these chemical medicines are more stronger, and they produce more stronger and more stronger varieties. And one more thing, on the other side, the immunity of the humans are going down and down and down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed Hassan. Participants, please come forward. If you have any queries, you can ask here. Dr. Danesh, please. I think no one has questions.
Yes, I have. I would like to ask if I have possibility. So very interesting, Dr. Jones. You told us with that cases of encephalitis, you have that regime like with belladonna, calcarea carbonica, and tuberculinum. Could you perhaps explain how would be the doses and how many days following to give the medicine? Let's say you have a little child with a lot of fever and headaches.
No, actually, this happened before 1990 in the state of Andhra Pradesh in India. And so many people were affected. All the systems were brought to action. And what happened is, at that time, many homeopathic doctors, they were treating these patients, beginning with belladonna and calcarea carb, like that. All the fever remedies were used. But at the same time, this, encephalitis is an inflammation of the brain and everything, swelling, inflammation of the brain. And it was found very useful. But at the same time, this epidemic was going on and on and on. And it appeared in 2 years consecutively in this state.
Oh.
Then what happened? It was recurring, coming for some 3 months, it will be there, then disappear. Then after 1 year, it comes back. So at that moment, homeopathy stepped in and advised people to take these medicines. So we gave at that time as a preventive. When the second time it came, we gave it as a preventive, like belladonna, 2 months, like 200, 1 some few doses only, very few doses for the first 2 months. Then the next 2 months calcarea. Then it was given like a complementary one. Belladonna 2 months, calcarea carb 2 months, tuberculin 2 months. And tuberculin and calcarea carb was in 1 potencies. So what happened is,
just to be clear, and sorry to interrupt, and with belladonna C200, you gave every few days for 2 months, or
no,
how was it?
for patients they gave regularly, but for prevention they gave only once in a month, 1 potency or 200, like that.
Once in a month. Okay.
So this it was called BCT. It was a very famous one at that point of time. So BCT was given as a preventive for the next 2-3 months. And after that, even after 30 years, it did not recur in that stage. 30 years now, it did not come back. So what I mean to say is, most of our prevents, I have my own experience with cholera. My college, our students, our teachers, all took over one area where the cholera outbreak was there, and 80 people died in a period of 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Then homeopathic doctors stepped in. They gave the medicines. The medicine was Veratramal. I myself was there. Our president, Dr. Ismail sir, was there. Many of us were there on this platform. Many people in this platform also was there. But the main thing is, not only we could contain this cholera in 10 days, that means after 10 days, nobody died. When homeopathy stepped in, within 10 days, cholera stopped. That is one thing. Second thing is, it did not recur in the last 30 years. We did this in, this was in 1995. Now almost 30 years now. Not a single case is reported on that district or that area at all, even now. So that means this is the advantage. What I'm saying is not only to contain the epidemic, but to give or boost up the immunity of the individuals so that they will not get any other viral disease also. That is the beauty of homeopathy.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That's very, very interesting, Dr. Jones. Very interesting. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Beatrix. I think this is the time for the discussion. Please come forward. Otherwise, you can put your question in the chat box. No one is having doubt.
If there are no questions, perhaps it would be interesting for you to hear something from Germany. As at the moment, last week, I was treating patients with coronavirus. We still have coronavirus. And it was a family with 2 old people, 83, 86. And I was giving Bryonia C200 twice a day. And today, after a few days, now I got the feedback today, they are quite well, no problems, a bit of cough, a bit of one day, a bit of fever, nothing more. So at the moment, I feel we had the last 6 months in Germany, we had quite a lot of coronavirus, which was still very mild, but with a cough, which was going quite a long time.
Cough is going for a long time.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's also there because, basic thing is corona is an inflammatory disease, a fever one. And and it is a variant of the flu virus. So what happens is we have to, in our Materia Medica and repertory, we have remedies for flu-like symptoms. These remedies,
Yes.
which were given in our Materia Medica and repertory for flu, is found effective in corona treatment also.
Yeah.
Everywhere, throughout the world, it was like that. Then the second thing is, these remedies gave immunity in future also. As Stuart Close
That's
says,
true. Yes.
I remember the statement of Dr. Stuart Close in The Genius of Homeopathy. What he says is, a medicine is not only one which cure the disease, but also which can give the immunity, enhance the immunity of the individual. So homeopathic medicines satisfy these 2 points. So these 2 points are the ones we have to take into consideration. And in our Materia Medica, for all the complications, there are medicines. For example, in the repertory, it is given cough after influenza. In Boric's repertory, we see cough after influenza. The main remedy is sanguinaria. Then there is Drosera, sanguinaria, tuberculina, many other remedies are there. But the cough after influenza, the main remedies, sanguinaria and Sticta pulmonale.
See, okay. If they have these pressing points here with Sticta, yes, yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Jose.
Because Sticta also affects the lungs. Sanguinaria also same. And even, in many cases like measles, chickenpox, smallpox, all these fever, acute conditions, depending on their myasm or the patient's myasm, the complication depends on the patient's myasm. For example, those who are of tubercular myasm are prone to get cough and respiratory complications. Actually, Hahnemann explained all these things in the chronic diseases. Why people are getting such and such complications? Who are more prone to, or which myasm is more prone to this complication? It's very clearly given.
Thank you, Dr. Beatrix. Here also, everywhere after corona, many are not cured with the cough. Cough is continuous for 2 months, 3 months, like that. And I have a question to the participants. Who all are used sanguinaria for treating your cough? So please put your comments in the comment box. Dr. Danesh, you can talk.
Yeah, good evening, Joseph. It's really a very good session indeed. And as we all know that homeopathy works on a principle of individualization and a law of similars. And so whatever be the illness that comes in your way can be treated with homeopathic medicine and with our philosophical points that were pointed out by Dr. Hahnemann. And this is what you were telling here in this session. And unfortunately, most of the people in our community itself think in a different way, that they are more concentrating on the disease itself rather than the person, disease the person. What we will have to look into the totality of the symptoms of the patient to find out the right remedy that will work, whether It be a case of COVID, it be a case of measles, it be a case of chicken pox, or it may be a case of mumps, or even the so-called Chandipura virus disease can be easily managed with homeopathic medicine. Of course, there are new varieties of disease that is threatening in Kerala by the knife. That is, as you know, that amoebic encephalitis and all those things. But in the previous editions of these, some of their some years back, they where Japanese encephalitis was hitting high and hard in Kerala, particularly in Alleppey district. But we were able to give preventive as well as treatment in those cases, and we were 100% success in those cases, because I still remember there was no solution in these days. But the thing was that the basic difference was that in those days the TV channels were not much popular among people, so we have a chance to come up and share our philosophy that we have the preventive with us, and we can do with the wonders with our medicine. And people were rushing towards us. There was in the Indian history itself, it was written about homeopathy that at the time of cholera, Dr. Majumdar and his team has done treatment as well as preventive.
Can I add one thing? Somebody asked a question.
Yes, sir.
Which sanguinaria? There was a question in the chat box.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would like to answer that, because there are two main sanguinarias. One Sanguinaria canadensis and the other one is Sanguinaria nitricum. Sanguinaria nitricum is almost like a specific in polyp, nasal polyp, and enlarged adenoids. Whereas Sanguinaria canadensis is the number one remedy for post-influential cough, post-cough after influenza. You look into the repertories, you can see. Then one more thing I would like to add is all these new epidemics that are coming in the last 2 decades, you can see it is all viral diseases from mutant varieties of virus, not the normal ones. So here, thank you, Dr. Jayalalitha. Here, one thing we have to understand is, when you give a preventive, try to give a no salt, because it works better than our vegetable, animal, mineral acids, because it's the most deep acting remedy. That means long acting and deep acting in both ways. I told you about the anthraencephalitis where tuberculum worked very well. Also, one more thing we have to keep in mind is all these are viral diseases, and the psychotic myasm is the one which has this predisposition to viral diseases, and because of that, Tuja is one of the main remedies in this. Tuja comes as a preventive, whether it is for any viral disease. Tuja can be used as a preventive, because viral diseases occur because the patients the individual is highly psychotic. So from asthmatic level, you can think of Tuja. Thank you.
Yes. Yes,
For giving the preventive also, we have to look for the myasm.
Myasm, because all the recurrent diseases are due to chronic myasms.
And I think now we have five more minutes. Now hand raises are there, questions are there. For this charting trouble, what is the medicine for that? Even I have that. I cannot study.
Gelsimia.
Okay. If I have to study more, also I will sit and look other something. At last only I will study. So Gelsemium, right?
If Gelsemium does not work, give argent nitric.
For me, argent nitricum?
Yeah. No. If Gelsemium does not work. Then there is one more thing in the lectures by Kent in Lycopodium. He says that some people have a habit. They know everything, but when they start, it is very slow, and they are not a little apprehensive. They are not in a big way. But after 5 minutes, they go on like anything, you know. So that also is a slowness or a starting trouble. And like he's giving an example of a lawyer who's, when he went to the court and started his speech, he was very skeptical, you know, like wavering like that. But he knows everything. But after a few minutes, he was going like anything, you know, very fast, very nicely presenting it. So it's like a warming up in a way. Takes some time to warm up and, you know.
So for that, it is subject nitric acid.
No. That one Ken
Lycopodium.
says is
Calcium.
lycopodium. It is there in the lectures
Lycopodium.
of lectures of Kent in the lycopodium. He is giving this example.
Okay.
Maybe most of us need it.
Yeah, I need that. Okay, Dr. Danesh?
Yes, definitely. We need to look into both aspects, the treatment side as well as preventive side, as mentioned by Issac sir. All these things are done during the at the time of pandemic, of even at the COVID, and in the time of chikungunya, at the time of cholera. But still, the government is not looking at us, and so it is our duty to make all these things published among public, and so that public can demand for homeopathy for this prevention as well as treatment. This is what the purpose of propagating homeopathy among public, because public always don't know that because these nowadays lot of these medias are coming and saying that there is no medicine for this, no medicine for this. So they are always talking in the line tune. They are dancing with the tunes of the IMA people, that is the so-called modern medical world. So unfortunately, our news items are not coming into so much of not getting so much of attention from the media as well as among the top leaders. So we will have to propagate homeopathy among public by using all medias. Everyone should talk, everyone should write, everyone should uh, 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 educate our patients itself, because patients are the best propagators of homeopathy. Am I right, sir?
Yeah, that's what I said in the beginning. Without the support of the government, without the support of the multinational pharma, without the political support, we grew and became number 2 in the world.
That's the reason why they are afraid
Jealous of you.
Struggle for existence is the question there. Then that may be the reason.
Dr. Ahmed Hassan, please ask your question now. I think he was here and raising his hand. Dr. Ahmed Hassan?
Boblin want to speak, I think. Yes, Boblin is there. Please unmute. Yes,
Dr.
please.
Ahmed Hassan, are you
Yes,
here?
yes.
Actually, he raised his hand. Then he left.
Okay.
Hello, Bob. Hello.
Welcome. Hello, Dr. Issac. Issac is my very good friend. So when you're coming to Malaysia again, thank you for bringing this topic. Yeah, you give me a call. Okay, when you arrive, I will sure take you around, especially Penang again. So you gave a very good topic about Chandipura virus, and it's related to their rabies virus also at the same time. So the symptoms will be almost the same, like you have the symptoms of encephalitis. Yeah? So what, like you say, we can do prevention by going to this what do you call that, constitutional remedy or whatever you say, or then we go to the nosol. So are this prevention or are this treatment? Nosol.
No, in treatment, usually we use the, we are in the active stage. We usually use the vegetable fever remedies. And after that, later we go to the nostril. That is the normal pattern. Depending on the stage, we can change that also.
Oh, so the vector is a sandfly, right?
Sandfly.
And sandfly is actually found on the beaches, right?
Yeah.
But there are cases occurring in Ngapo, and Ngapo is not near the beach at all. I think the center of India. There's one case I read recently.
Because of the media, a very small disease is getting much attention.
Yeah. So can it be like other vectors like mosquito?
No, what I
Involved?
mean to say is we should concentrate on two things. One, the immunity of our own individuals. These kind of vectors will be there. Many will come and go. So why should we worry about that? Increase the immunity of the human beings. Whatever we can do to increase the immunity of the human beings should be done. You know, and
Okay,
many of these chemical medicines are reducing the immunity of the human beings.
so we take more homeopathy to increase
And also
our
we must
immune
prevent
system.
the mutation of these infectants or pathogens.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bob Lim, now we already took 2 minutes of Malayalam session, daily doing the same mistake. Dr. P. Shaila, I am welcoming Dr. P. Shaila for moderating Malayalam session. Doctor, please welcome. Doctor, unmute ചെയ്ത് സംസാരിക്കണേ.
Okay.